Jerry Seinfeld trending today after his son set up a lemonade stand in their family's neighborhood in the Hamptons, straight out of the Hamptons. They were raising money for his wife's baby buggy charity. But as you may suspect, the police couldn't let this stand. The illegal operation was shut down. But not until after Seinfeld posted a picture to Instagram making fun of the police. Here to discuss is someone who loves big government intervention in our daily lives and believes that all lemonade stands should be banned. Our brave lefty. You got to give him credit for that.
Hi.
Jonathan, good to have you with us.
Good to see you.
Jerry Seinfeld's lemonade stand.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I think they pose a direct threat to our society, so they should be shut down. Any lemonade stand that I see, I'm immediately on the phone to the cops.
Reporting
it.
It's so really, I mean, how far does government have to go before people like you say, this is ridiculous? Like, really, do they need to get a business license to have a lemonade stand for his wife's baby buggy charity?
Well, no, but one of the reasons I do tend to lean toward defending big government is because usually they're there for at least some kind of common sense purpose. I think his neighbors had called because it was the traffic. It was the traffic to the lemonade stand that was actually disturbing people, and the cars were illegally parked, and so that's why they came and shut it down.
Can't people just handle that? I mean, where's the freedom? You know, I mean, if I'm the neighbor and they're causing a little traffic for a charity, you know, I might be like, hey, I'm in a hurry. Can I go around? You know, I mean, I just don't know why we need big daddy government to come and tell us how to direct traffic or how to do a lemonade stand.
Well, it's a supreme authority. It's that way there's an authority.
Authority.
There's an authority. That way, you know, if I ask you to do something and you don't want to do it, or you ask me, there's an authority that can come in and say, you know, here are the rules, here's what we've all agreed to as a society, this is what we need to be doing, and they enforce those rules, which is what laws should be. So I don't always think the government's wrong, and you know, I drove by a lemonade stand on my way here and I was, you know,
on the phone reporting it.
Exactly.
We're glad we've got you out there doing that vigilante work for us.
It was shut down. They'd let me know when I got in the parking lot.
All right. Well, this is really a debate about big government. Big government does a lot of things that make a lot of conservatives mad. Don't make you as mad as we've talked about. But the Hurricane Katrina event, it's the 10-year anniversary. People still complaining that some areas there are in ruins. And this is a quote from the Cato article regarding Katrina that I found today. It says, who are the people that suffered the most from Hurricane Katrina? The very poorest residents of New Orleans, many of them on welfare. The very people the government has lured into decades of dependency. The welfare state has taught generations of poor people to look to government for everything, housing, food, money, etc. Their sense of responsibility and self-reliance had atrophied, and when government failed, they had no resources to fall back on.
Wow, that's pretty intense. Atrophied.
Yeah.
You know, is he clear of who he's talking about? I guess he is, because when I hear welfare, I hear corporate welfare and people like Donald Trump who file bankruptcy to get out of paying their bills, and the government kind of patches the gap. So it depends on what kind of government assistance they're talking about. So yeah, those people were terribly affected. I think it's 100,000 people left New Orleans and still have not been able to return. President Obama was talking about that. I find that big government tends to fail more under conservative leadership than it tends to under liberal leadership. I think it was Bush was a heck of a job, he said to Brownie about the job he did in Katrina, and it was just like, really? Like, what are you looking at?
Well, a good reason why we need a non-establishment candidate as the nominee for the GOP. But I want to ask you this. Distinguish for me, if you would, you know, the situation like Katrina, and people being so dependent on government that literally they don't even know how to bootstrap it at all. What is the difference between that sort of dependent mentality on government and plantation mentality, slavery?
I don't think that there was any lack of understanding how to bootstrap it. I think what happened is there was a natural disaster, and the government, which is FEMA and those things that are supposed to step in, which is the South is the most welfare dependent, the white South is the most welfare dependent part of the country. And they are always either
longtime Democrats, I might add.
No, these are Republicans.
Up until recently, though. But up until recently, the South was solidly Democrat, up until the last couple decades.
Right, but that was when Democrat meant something else. But now, they've always been conservative. And so I don't know that there was any lack of bootstrapping. I think it was a natural disaster. FEMA, which always helps that region of the country because they're always getting struck by natural disasters more than the rest of us, failed. And so what we saw were Americans being referred to as refugees and people left out on freeways and in stadiums.
But 10 years later, an Obama administration hasn't managed to help these people?
Well, here's my question for people who always go after the government is, what did the private industry do to help? Nothing.
Oh, actually a lot.
They did
like,
nothing
for example, Walmart came in with truckloads of water, and FEMA turned them away. I saw this when I lived in Alabama, and we had private industry trying to help, and we had government turning them away.
But
private industry and churches, I might add.
What I'm saying is, in all that time, what has the private industry done? Like you're saying Obama hasn't done anything. I haven't seen any private industries going in and solving the problem.
So do you think, though, that we should go back to a day where neighbor helps neighbor, church helps church person, friend helps friend, rather than it always being all government all the time, and so they sit around and wait for government to fix everything?
No.
There's no merit in that for you.
Well, no, that's fine, but I think as an industrialized nation, what we have is like, you know, I was driving by a homeless gentleman on my way to work earlier, and it was like, I myself, by myself, cannot help this man. And you can't by yourself help this man. But if the government, which is the collective, us, takes maybe 25 cents from you, 25 cents from me, 25 cents from someone else, they can set up programs that help that man. That is what government is, and that's not a bad thing.
Want to be that man?
I think that has to do with the way that we look at people, whether it's people's drive is to be dependent or people's drive is to get up and they just need a hand up. And I believe that people do have the drive to get up.
So do you believe in cutoffs?
Absolutely, of course.
So really, so someone should get unemployment, for example, for how long?
It depends on their region. If they live in a region of the country that doesn't have a moving economy, as long as that region, you know, dictates it takes someone to look for a job, it depends. Maybe in California it's different than in the rural South, but I absolutely believe on cutoffs, absolutely.
How's Hillary doing this week?
You know, I have to say, I wasn't a huge Hillary fan. I'm still not, but I was watching her dialogue that she had with the Black Lives Matter group, and I was really, really impressed with the blunt nature and the way that she just blatantly discussed what it is that they need to do in order to be as impactful, say, as the civil rights movement was. She was saying, I need you to bring me legislation so I can sell it to the people, because you can't change hearts, but you can change allocation of resources and things like that. And it was a very blunt and kind of raw conversation in a way that I haven't seen them sit down with anyone on the right.
Do you think she's been blunt and raw about her server, about Benghazi, about Clinton's the new big scandal today with Bill Clinton actually wanting to take money from very oppressive governments for speeches?
The thing is, I've yet, in all this time that Republicans have been so concerned about her emails, I've yet to hear them talk about Bush when he lost millions of emails during an investigation, and I have yet to see anything.
But that's changing the subject.
No, but I'm saying about Hillary, and I have yet to see anything about Hillary.
You aren't going to find a lot of Bush fans in the Republican side.
Right, no, but I'm just saying, and there's nothing that has shown Hillary to this day has done anything illegal. They said that at the time when she was in office, it was not illegal for her to use a private server and have a private email. It is now not the policy, but when she was in office, that was totally fine what she did. So I'm not worried about her email. If at some point it comes out she broke the law or put our security at risk, we'll talk about it then, but that hasn't happened.
Well, thank you. We'll have to leave it at that. Up next, we're going to talk about Speaker John Boehner calling Ted Cruz a jackass and what it means for Cruz's campaign for president. I keep wondering if he paid him for it. We'll be back in just a moment. More America Trends. Stay right where you are.